Do you have a right for people to not know you have a gun? Meaning your fellow citizens. Suppose we had a law that says you can buy an AR, you can buy one, but you must join the NRA. For those of you who are new to my periscopes, I often suggest what I know to be bad and unpopular ideas. If they're different enough, then it might stimulate you to think of an idea that's a better version of it. So that's all we're doing here. So don't get too caught up on whether that's a perfectly good idea or not. It's to spur thinking. Let me throw out some off-the-hook ideas on gun control. You have a right to own a gun. Do you have a right for people to not know you have a gun? Meaning your fellow citizens, not the government. But do you have a right to keep your gun ownership a secret from your fellow citizens? It's just a question. Now, again, nothing I'm going to say here is a recommendation for a policy. I'm just asking the question. All right, so most people are saying, yes, we do have the right of privacy, and we have a right to keep that private. Let me throw out this idea. Suppose there was a law that says you can own an AR, but there's a new law that says you have to put a gun lock on it in order to own it legally while it's being stored. It has to have a gun lock on it. And, wait for it, when you take the gun lock off, it sends a signal through the cell phone world to alert maybe law enforcement. So let's say law enforcement knows if you've taken the safety or you've taken the gun lock off your gun. Maybe they know where it is too. Suppose they knew you took your gun lock off. Now let's say you had made a reservation at the shooting range. Now, the police might say, oh, he's got a reservation at the shooting range. I see he's at the shooting range. His gun lock is off. All good. Suppose somebody takes their gun lock off for 10 minutes. Police see it and they say, oh, okay, he's just cleaning his gun, whatever, changing the batteries on his gun lock. It's all good. But could you imagine that there was somebody who had maybe been flagged as somebody had been flagged as maybe one of these red flag people? Maybe somebody who's in the system as being a little bit more problematic. They take their gun lock off and their phone rings. The phone rings and the police say, hey, you're in our database as sort of problematic. We see that your gun lock is off. Can you talk to us? Now, maybe the person will say, oh yeah, I'm going to the gun range. And then the police say, okay, you sound like you're in good mental state. You're going to the gun range. Please put your gun lock back on when you return. Now, again, I realize most of you are saying, I don't want this. It's another infringement on the Second Amendment. And it is. Of course, it would be an infringement. But I'm just going to put that out there. So is there some technological way that everybody who has a God-given, if you like, right to own a gun can still do everything they want to do? At the same time, there would be some kind of a technological way to flag the police when somebody who's maybe a little less safe takes the gun lock off. And maybe it's just a phone call. Hey, gun lock's off. I just want to see how you're feeling. Are you okay today? I can tell from your voice that oh no, I just took the gun lock off. I'm just cleaning my gun or whatever. Okay, carry on. So that's one idea, and I acknowledge that it's a bad idea. Let me give you now, for those of you who are new to my periscopes, I often suggest what I know to be bad and unpopular ideas. If they're different enough, then it might stimulate you to think of an idea that's a better version of it. So that's all we're doing here. So don't get too caught up on whether that's a perfectly good idea or not. It's to spur thinking. Here's another one, and this is, again, just to spur thinking. Suppose we had a law that says you can buy an AR, you can buy one, but you must join the NRA. So that's the rule. You must join the NRA, or if you wanted to be fair, you could say, or any similar national organization that has, in case there's some competitor to the NRA, you don't want to give them a monopoly. But you say you've got to be in the NRA or something like it, and you've got to sign up. Now you say to yourself, how the hell does that help? Somebody says, awful idea in the comments. How the hell does that help? Because the bad guys are just going to be, they'll just sign up and then they'll just do what they're going to do anyway. How does that help anybody? Are you ready? Right now, my understanding is that no member of the NRA has ever been accused of one of these mass shootings. So first of all, fact check me. Is that true? That no member of the NRA has ever been has ever been a mass shooter? I think that's true. But if it's not 100% true, it's mostly true. I'm seeing some people saying it's a better idea. So you're getting ahead of me because you've already thought this through. Here's what this idea does. It pairs the people who have the most dangerous weapons with the organization that has the most incentive, besides the government, the most incentive to help them stay safe. And it becomes then a de facto problem of the NRA to manage gun safety. Because the last thing they want to hear is that 3 more members of the NRA shot up a school. Am I right? The NRA is almost entirely focused. That's not true. I don't want to say that. The NRA has 2 main focuses, I would say. Gun safety and freedom, the Second Amendment. Is that fair? 2 main goals, gun safety and remaining free to have the guns that the Constitution allows you. The gun safety part, they could be very productive because who better to educate? Who better to police their own, right? If you're a member of the NRA and you find out that there might be somebody else who's a little dangerous who's a member of the NRA, well, maybe you put a little extra effort into making sure your brand doesn't get ruined. Anyway, the point is, I don't know specifically how that would play out, but I like the idea of pairing the NRA by law with somebody who has a dangerous weapon, because you want to get that training, that brainwashing, if you will. Brainwashing I'm using in a positive sense. If you are an owner of a dangerous tool of any kind, I want you to be a little bit brainwashed on safety. So that would give the NRA more authority and in a way that I think would be productive.